Hi, Dr. Scott Jensen. I serve in the Minnesota State Senate and I'm a family doctor. It's been a while where I read an article and felt the immediate urge to share it with you, but that's where I'm at today. So I want to just take a few minutes to share with you an article that I read that was in the Wall Street Journal today, and it was written by Dr. Joseph Ladopo, and if I'm pronouncing his name incorrectly, I apologize. But in this article in the Wall Street Journal, it's titled, How to Live with COVID. There's some really important thoughts here. Now, Dr. Ladopo has been at NYU. He works at UCLA, and his grant research programs have been funded by the NIH. He previously served as a staff fellow at the FDA. This is an accomplished individual. He's a physician. He's a PhD. He works with cardiovascular disease and has spent a lot of time taking care of hospitalized patients during his career. Let me just share some key lines in his article in the Wall Street Journal today. How to live with COVID, not for it. The battle against COVID-19 is entering a new phase, and the choice for society is whether to live with the virus or to live for it. Many states have weathered post-shutdown outbreaks, and case counts are falling. The percentage of Americans saying the pandemic is worsening peaked in July and is trending down. According to Gallup polling, the culture wars over lockdowns and distancing mandates are cooling, and inexpensive rapid testing will soon be available widely if it's not already. These are some of the comments that he made. I am picking and choosing some of his words. But these developments create an atmosphere of possibility, an opportunity to pivot away from the fear-fueled policymaking that has characterized this pandemic, especially in the United States. Policies forged in fear and panic have wrought tremendous damage in exchange for benefits that were attainable at a much lower cost. He goes on to say, when faced in March with the choice between imposing limited shutdowns to buy hospitals time and increase capacity, and enormous indefinite shutdowns that ignored societal and economic costs, most political leaders chose the latter. He goes on to say, when faced in May and June with the choice between embracing policies that balanced COVID-19 prevention with the activities that give life meaning versus policies that sowed distrust and stirred fierce passions over civil liberties, most political leaders chose the latter. He's basically saying that our political leaders chose the enormous indefinite shutdowns with huge societal costs, and that most political leaders chose to go with policies that would sow distrust and stir fierce passions. This is an important article. He goes on to say, the good sense of looking at this again is plain. He says, where is the controversy in placing disproportionate energy and attention on populations that are disproportionately at risk for harm than COVID-19? A recent study in the Annals of Internal Medicine reported that the infection fatality rate in non-institutionalized persons under 40 was 0.01%. That's a tenth of a lot of our influenza outbreaks. He goes on to say, the average COVID-19 transmission rate to close contacts is roughly 10 or 15%. He talks about college administrators in Ohio are expending substantial energy trying to stop young people from socializing. High schools in Georgia are being pushed toward closure due to mass quarantining, and intricate plans are being drafted for young children for whom the virus is less harmful than seasonal influenzas in Los Angeles. He says a wiser investment would focus on protecting the vulnerable population. He goes on to say, early outpatient therapies for COVID-19 may also prevent serious illness in these populations. And I just received an article where in Saudi Arabia, they found that when they studied 3,500 COVID-19 patients receiving HCQ, hydroxychloroquine, and 4,500 receiving standard care, no hydroxychloroquine, in the hydroxychloroquine group, 7 patients died. In the non-hydroxychloroquine group, 54 died. So 3,500 in one arm of the study, 4,500 in the arm. 7 patients died in the 3,500 arm because that was the HCQ, and the 54 died in the 4,500 arm study and that was without HCQ. This is important. Dr. Ladopo goes on to say, the point of life is living, and everyone is better off with policies that focus on protecting the most vulnerable populations. That doesn't take universal rapid testing or never-ending mandates. It requires only abandoning fear, being sensible about who is targeted for tests and protections, expanding treatment capacities and therapies, and choosing to live with the virus rather than to live for it. And if I could piggyback on some of the things he said, we should be looking at what can we do individually to make ourselves stronger if we are going to encounter this COVID-19 virus. And I would say this, if your BMI is over 30, lose 5 or 10 pounds, get on zinc, get on vitamin C, get on vitamin D, spend some time meditating, try to get yourself at peace because your immune system will function better. But the bottom line is, we can start to move past this doom and gloom and fear. We can take charge of our own lives. We can read what this doctor has said and see that this is an opportunity for us to make a different set of decisions. Doggone it, this is exciting. This is exciting news. And then we see that there's more home therapies being proposed and more studies looking at what kinds of home therapies might be helpful, whether we're talking about inhaled steroids, hydroxychloroquine, supplemental zinc, vitamin C, and vitamin D. Folks, take some hope. Look at the Wall Street Report. And again, the title of the article was How to Live with COVID, Not For It. Thanks. It's September 16th, and it's good to be with you.